So we just got home, wrapped up stage number 2 of the Bass Pro Tour down at Lake Conroe. Had a great tournament there. Ended up the week in 14th place. I really felt like I was on a solid pattern, a potential winning pattern. I was catching not as many fish as some of the other guys, but I was catching really good quality. My average was definitely the highest, out of anybody throughout the week. So the way I was catching them was pretty simple. I was looking for staging fish. It was cold down there. The water temperature was actually surprisingly chilly. It was muddy, and trying to get these fish to bite was a challenge in itself during practice. But once I kind of figured out what they wanted to do, I got a little technique dialed in that's a little bit different than normal. So I was looking for big rock, brush piles, on creek channel swings, bridges, that type of things, where those fish were staging, getting ready to move up and spawn. And the way that I was fishing for them was using a big 3/4 ounce Strike King spinnerbait. I was just slow rolling it, bouncing it off the rocks. You can see the head on it's really beat up. A big number 5 blade, and just really crawling this thing through the rocks, kind of popping it a little bit, getting a reaction strike, and every one of these fish just absolutely unloaded on this thing. You can see I got a little swim bait trailer on there. I trailered this thing with the Rage Swimmer. This is the 4.75 inch, and I cut it down, just your standard pearl, pearl color to match the white spinnerbait. These fish were keying on big shad. A number of the better fish that I caught had shad tails sticking out of their mouth, so this was a perfect match of the hatch for that. I was throwing it on a 7'5" medium heavy. It's an 893 JWR G Loomis GLX. This is by far my favorite rod. Hands down, the rod I use the most for many different techniques, and it's one that I've got a whole bunch of them, and it's by far my favorite. Used a Metanium, just a standard gear ratio, 6:1. Allowed me to kind of slow that bait down and keep it moving slow along the bottom, bouncing off those rocks. 17-pound Bass Pro Shop XPS fluorocarbon. And the other thing that I caught a couple fish on, not as many. This was definitely the main pattern, but I did catch a couple of key fish on Strike King KVD 1.5 deep. This is a new bait for us. It works really well, especially around rock and riprap and that kind of thing. It's got the square bill, so it's not going to get hung, but it gets down a little bit deeper than your standard 1.5. So those were kind of my 2 lures this week. I had a great finish down at Lake Conroe, and looking forward to stage 3.